Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for taking the time out to watch my little video. Today we are going to be ranking the last 5 eyeshadow palettes that I have tried, and I'm just going to give you kind of quick thoughts on how I felt about them. Yeah, and show them to you. So if that sounds good, if you want to be nosy and everything, just, keep watching. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and I know I said last 5 palettes, but there's a bonus one because I just couldn't help myself. I had to include it. But anywhoosie, these are all good eyeshadow palettes. They are all very good in their own way. So I'm not hating on any brands or any eyeshadow palettes in particular. These are just my preferences. That's what they're ranked on. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first palette I'm going to talk about is from VIEVE, Jamie Genevieve's brand. If you follow her, she's a YouTuber, and she came out with her own brand. And the first palette I'm going to talk about is the Essential palette. And this is what it looks like. It's a very neutral palette. It's got, just like the name says, everything that you would need, the essentials. And honestly, the mattes are great, but the shimmers, out of all 3 that are in this palette, there's only one that's really like stunning and like a good formula. I hate to say that because I had such high hopes for this palette. I really wanted the shimmers to be better than what they were, but the 2 shades, Carrot and Thea, are just like super chunky and dry and flaky. And you have to just work that much harder to get them to work for you and stay on your lid and not just disappear through the day. And like I said, the mattes in this palette are just really good. And yeah, so this one is gonna go in 6th place, I feel so bad saying that about this palette because I love the brand so much, and I love this palette for the mattes because it does have like some more nuanced shades for my collection. And the next spot is going to be number 5, and that's going to go to another VIEVE palette, the VIEVE Muse. And the reason why I'm ranking this one in this space is because compared to the next palette we're going to talk about, it's just not what I was expecting. This is what she looks like, and this is definitely a major step up from that first palette that we talked about, the VIEVE Essentials. Now this one, the shimmers are a much better formula. They're not like a super impactful shimmers. They're a nice, a subtle, sophisticated shimmer, if that makes sense to you. And the mattes, same great formula as before. I don't know, I thought it was going to be more grungy. I thought we were going to get some more, like, I don't want to say that the shadows aren't pigmented because that's not the word to say. They're just, the colors are much more softer. They're much softer and much more muted than I had expected this palette to be. So that's why it's going in 5th place. Place number 4. This is going to go to my girl Natasha Denona, and her retro palettes. I got this palette right after it first launched, and I have been using her. This is what she is looking like, getting some good use on this palette. But she is at spot number 4. I love it. I love this palette. It's so good for fall and winter looks for me. And I just think it's a mauve tone dream. You can go cooler, you can go a little bit warmer, but everything stays pretty neutral. It doesn't get too far either way, and I really like that. Because like I said, I like nuanced things for my collection, and this is nuance. I don't like to have too much of one thing. But this is number 4. I love the color story of this palette. It definitely looks way different in person than it did online. There were so many different pictures circulating, and in each one it looked different. I feel like you can go a little warmer, a little cooler, but still you stay in neutral ground with it, and it's just like a mauve-y pinky dream, and I love it. So number 4 for her. Now moving right along to space number 3, that is going to go to Natasha Denona again. This is the Glam Face Palette. I've been using this quite a bit. And I've have some Instagram stuff up too. This is what it looks like. Ignore all my gross stuff in the background. This is what it looks like. And it's just perfect for this time of year. It's the staple neutral colors. It's got that cheek color that I love. It's got a wonderful highlight formula. And the only thing I don't like about this is how flaky the shimmers are, but I mean, it's a shimmer. What are you gonna do? It's just so good. The mattes blend so easily and the shimmers just look so good. I had one all the way up to my brow bone and my eye just looked wet, and I just love it. And I have the dark version. I don't think I said that. That's the dark version, and that is going in spot number 3. Now number 2, we're getting down to the last couple of palettes here. My second place is going to go to Pat McGrath Utopian Dream. I picked this up during one of her 30% off sales, and I've used it a couple of times, and each time I just create some beautiful looks with it. This is what it looks like. But I am ranking Utopian Dream at spot number 2 simply for the reason that these special shades are just like, they're so good. I have never tried a Pat McGrath Mothership palette, so this was my first experience with that Astral Blitz formula. So that really is why it's in second place, because I just love them so much, and it's just so reflective, so impactful, so glittery, so sparkly, and all the things I love. And it had that purple and that like purpley pink. Like these 2 special shades right here, these are my favorite in the whole palette. I love them. Like these over here are good too, but these are great. And you get a multi-chrome in here too. Okay, I'm saving the best for last. Spot number 1. The palette that it is going to go to is going to be another Pat McGrath. It was my second ever Pat purchase. I picked it up during the Sephora sale. The Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey holiday release. And this is what she's looking like. Mine is used and abused. I love this thing. It's got the mattes, it's got the shimmers, the flakier metallics, the shinier ones, and also like the more subtle shimmers too. It's got everything that you could need right here. You can create so many unique looks with this palette, and I've loved every single one of them that I've created so far. My favorite shades in this palette have to be a Citrine, which is this one, and it's the only shade that I know in this palette. That's how much I love it. And then this blue one right here. I really like that blue color. Have you guys picked up this Celestial Odyssey palette? Let me know in the comments how much you love it, because I love it enough to rank it at number 1. Alright guys, that was it. We just ranked the last 6 palettes that I've tried, and we talked about them a little bit, the good and the bad, what I like, what I didn't like, and you got to know a little bit about my preferences. I hope you had a good time. I certainly had a good time just sitting here and talking to you guys about makeup. I really do. It's just, I like makeup. It makes me feel good. I like to play with it, and it's my little hobby. So if you enjoyed yourself today, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to stick around for the next video. But until then, bye guys.